So when somebody says they live off-grid, what's the first thing you think of? You think of someone living in a cabin, in the woods, with an outhouse and a wood-burning stove. And that's probably what most people think of when they think about living off-grid. But the truth is living off-grid, by definition, is just not being tied to the utilities in the city or county that you live in. So you can have a regular house and you use propane to heat your house instead of the wood-burning stove. You can have a well, so you have your own water. You can use solar to get electricity. And you can have a septic system, so you can have a regular bathroom and you don't need an outhouse. And all that is technically still living off-grid. You're just not tied to the utilities of the city you're living in. People also think that it means you're growing your own food and you're, slaughtering chickens to eat. And a lot of people do that. But there's different levels of living off-grid. To the one extreme of the guy in the cabin, with an outhouse and a wood-burning stove, to people like what will eventually be, is we'll have a regular house. We'll have a stove that we buy from some big box store, and instead of being connected to the natural gas of the city, we'll be using propane. And we'll have solar panels for electricity, but because where we're at, we could go weeks without seeing the sun sometimes. I don't want to not be connected to the electricity, so we will be connected to the electricity, but we don't plan on using it. We'll use it in the event that we have to. Like if we go 2 or 3 weeks because it's winter and whatever reason the sun just doesn't come out because it's cloudy all the time and we can't get solar power, I don't want to lose everything. So we're going to be connected to the grid but not using the grid, at least as far as the electricity goes. But we'll have a well and we'll have septic and we'll use propane for heating. And that's the other level or the other end of the spectrum as far as living off-grid means. And you also think that people are way out in the middle of nowhere. We are, and we will be. But there's people that live off-grid. Technically, where I grew up, we were in the suburbs, but it was a remote suburb. We were over 30, 40 minutes from the closest major city. And we had a well and septic. We had regular electricity, but we had a well and septic. And I didn't know any different growing up. I didn't know that was different than what everybody else had. So, even in the city, you could kind of live, for the most part, kind of off-grid and be just right outside the city. So there's different levels of living off-grid. And if you ever think about, I want to live off-grid, if you think of that you want to do something like that, you just have to decide what level of off-grid you want to be. Do you want to be the far extreme to one end, where you're, living in a small cabin, you're heating your house, you're chopping your own wood, you got an outhouse outside, you're saving your rainwater, you're growing all your own food, you're chopping up chickens to eat, stuff like that. You can do that. Or you can go the other end, like where we'll be at, where we'll have a regular house. It'll look just like a regular house. We're going the barn-dominium route, but it's going to look like a regular house inside. It'll have a regular stove and fridge and everything. And we'll have all the utilities we'll have, internet and everything that you would have if you lived in a house in the city. Will be very remote, like as far as location goes, but we'll have everything we need. And for me, like I said, I want the electricity as a backup, being tied to the electricity, because I just know that, I don't know how long they save the solar saves for, but I just know that we can go weeks at a time without the sun coming out, or without it coming out strong enough to charge up anything. So in my mind, having that as a backup It doesn't diminish the fact that we'll be living off grid in any way. In my mind, it's just smarter to have it for the backup, use the solar so we're not paying the monthly bill. Or they probably actually charge you just to have it there in the event that you need it. But if you've ever thought about doing it, just go for it. Decide what level you want to be at. We're going to buy all our food at the grocery store. I mean, we might have chickens and we're going to have a greenhouse where we grow vegetables. But for the most part, we're going to be still buying our stuff at the grocery store. And in my opinion, that doesn't... Moving out, living off grid, to me, is living a simpler life, not a more difficult life. And chopping wood to stay warm when it's 20 below, to me, doesn't make it a simpler life. It makes it a more difficult life. So, like I said, off grid, there's a full range of it. There's a full spectrum from extremely one way to extremely the other. And we'll be on the extremely septic well, propane, and living like it's a regular house. So like I said, if you're thinking about it, just go for it. Decide what level you want to be at, where you feel comfortable, and just go for it. And if you've been thinking about it, do it now. I've been thinking about it for a long time. And we just decided not that long ago to actually move out here. And I mean, we could have done it back during the lockdowns, and that's probably when we should have done it, but we didn't. But you know, we're doing it now, and I would have done it sooner if I would have known like how much I was going to enjoy it. Anyway, if you like this kind of stuff, hit that like button, consider subscribing, and I'll catch you on the next one.